Hey there, it's Olivia-Savannah here from Olivia's Catastrophe, and today I'm here to give you my Gothtober TBR for the month of October. So you may know that I have fully given up on TBRs many years ago. I have a video down below where I quit TBRs officially, but because Gothtober is a readathon that I am a co-host of and I do actually usually plan my reading for Gothtober, I decided I can break my TBR not making rule just for this particular readathon. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Gothtober is a wonderful spooky season readathon that I co-host with Hannah from Ladette M and Tish from Letitia G, and I'll leave links to our announcement videos down below. You can get all of the info and learn how you can make your own TBR as well. And the theme for this year is prophetic galaxies. So a lot of the books that I've chosen for my TBR have a bit of a sci-fi tinge to them. I already got my prompt list in the announcement video, so again, watch that if you'd like to see. But I'm just going to quickly run through this and tell you what I plan to read, but no promises that this is what I will actually end up reading. My very first prompt was to read a horror book with a black main character, and for this I've chosen Model Home by Rivers Solomon. This is their upcoming horror book, which is set in a place where a black family lived in this house, but they did not like growing up there, the three siblings, so as soon as they possibly could, they moved out and escaped. However, all three of them are now drawn back to the house as their parents are discovered murdered outside, and it's about what happened and why that happened. And I'm pretty much reading this because it's by Rivers Solomon, and I love Rivers Solomon, and I trust that they will do the haunted magical house story very well. For my prompt of interstellar, parallel worlds or portal travel, I've decided to go with parallel worlds, and I'm being a bit stretchy with this prompt because I'm going to read the second book in the Annihilation series by Jeff Vandermeer. So I'm looking forward to reading the second book. I'm stretching this because it is still set on this Earth, but the Area X, where everything happens in this book that the humans keep going into to try and understand what is happening beyond this barrier that they can't see past, that they can't measure or reach from the outside. It means they're going into a different kind of world to understand what is happening. And in this second book, I believe they send in a different group of people into Area X, and it's about what happens to them while they're inside. I love Annihilation. I think it's one of the best sci-fi horror books. I also think the film is one of the best sci-fi horror films, so I'm very excited to continue reading this series and see what happens in the second book. For claustrophobic vibe, I've chosen the book Guillotine by Delilah S. Dawson. This is described to me as The Menu meets Ready or Not, which are both fantastic films, especially Ready or Not, one of my all-time favourites. And in this one you're following a thrift fashionista who's going to meet her boyfriend's rich family for the first time. However, what she doesn't know is that this family treat their household staff as if they are slaves and servants, and the household staff have had enough, and the day that she is coming over for dinner is the day that the household staff decide to revolt by murdering the rich family, and she is caught in the middle of it. And I think it's going to be claustrophobic because it's going to be set within this house and estate in the middle of nowhere where people are trying to hunt you and murder you, and I think that's quite a claustrophobic situation to be trapped in. So my next prompt is for something so good it'll make you defy gravity, and I have two book choices for this. So I could either read Sorrowland by Rivers Solomon, which is kind of a gothic book which I have been meaning to read for a very long time, and as I said, I love Rivers Solomon, but by this month I should already have read one Rivers Solomon in reading Model Home, so I might be tempted to instead read The Unworthy by Agustina Bazterrica, which comes out next year, but I do have a proof of it, and I don't have the synopsis for that book, but it's Agustina Bazterrica, so I will probably love it. So I've got two authors that I absolutely adore that I can choose from for this prompt. The Sentient Inanimate Object. I'm going rogue here, I'm not going to choose a sentient house, but I've decided it's high time that I read Murderbot by Martha Wells. Now Murderbot is about this robot who is sentient and alive and is, I think, programmed to murder people, but just wants to sit at home and be lazy and be content. And it's supposed to be cozy sci-fi, and I really like the sound of a murdery robot, and it's a sentient inanimate object because robotic parts shouldn't be brought to life, but they are in this one, so it's following the sci-fi theme that we're going here for the gothic-y books. Read a book with an aged monster, and of course the aged monster I'm going with is vampires because I adore everything vampires always and forever since my Twilight days. And the vampire book I'm going with here is Immortal Dark by Tigest, Girma. And I chose this one because it's a book that promises me black vampires. It's also a dark academia book, so we're blending the dark academia with the vampire vibe, and people have said it's really, really good. It's recently released and I just want to support this author and give it a go. So I will be reading this chunky boy. For dark desires, I decided that the dark desire I'm going to go here with is BDSM because if you've been on this channel, I love Sarah Simone, and this is the perfect excuse for me to read a Sarah Simone novel. It's gonna happen in October. So I have two options for the ones that I can read here. I can either read A Lesson in Thorns, which probably fits the vibe for Gothtober very well because it's her dark academia series and it starts with this particular one and it's following this couple, and I know there's BDSM vibes and it sounds dark and delicious and lovely, and I'm very excited to start this series by Sarah Simone. But I could also read Honeycut, which is the book that I've been most anticipating this year. It's the sequel to Salt Kiss, and this series of hers is a retelling of the Tristan and Isolde legend. So if you know that legend, you know that there's kind of a love triangle in this, and the first book ended on such a big cliffhanger. It's got BDSM vibes, it's got queer polyamorous vibes, it's absolutely amazing. I love it with my whole heart, and so I could read the sequel. So I could read either one. Realistically I want to read both, but we'll see what I have time for in the month of October. For my LGBT plus rep prompt, I'm going to try and read Gideon the Ninth. This is a well-known like fantasy gothic queer book where we've got a non-binary main character, I think. There's a necromancer and there's a like sword master. I've actually read the first chapter and it was really, really good. I was immediately enamored and immersed, and the world building was kicking off, and I really liked the character that we met, but I just was reading so many books at the time that I didn't have a chance to go further. So if I do have time, I would like to read this one and go a bit further. For BIPOC rep, I've chosen Noor by Nnedi Okorafor. I don't really know anything about this book, but it's by Nnedi Okorafor, so it will be good. Everything I've read by Nnedi Okorafor I really, really enjoyed. In her I put faith, I trust, and so I could read Noor for this, or I could read one of the many manga series that I'm going with. I'm going to go with Mood on this, and if I do read a manga series book, it'll be volume 8 in Death Note, which is my next volume of Death Note to read. I have my disability rep prompt, and I believe there's autism rep in Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White, and Andrew Joseph White writes queer stories. I believe this has recently been picked up for film as well. Autistic main character falls for a queer main character, something something. Sounds really fascinating. I don't have the synopsis here with me, and I just saw it and I thought this fit the prompt, and it's kind of a bit edgy and gothic-y and a bit dark and horror vibes, so I feel like it's the perfect one for fitting in with the Gothtober theme. And there you have it. That's my Gothtober TBR, but I'm so excited for the Gothtober readathon, for the live shows we have planned, for the reading sprints and for the live shows over the weekend, and I really hope that you'll join us and yeah, have a good time with us. I will see you in the month of October. Please let me know in the comment section down below what is one book that you plan to read in the month of October. If you're reading for Gothtober, let me know what prompt it fits. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and don't you forget to hit that notification bell to be updated every time I have a new video. And you know what they say, onwards and upwards. Excelsior!